Hey
Hey
everyone, this is
guys,
Mike,
and this is Josh.
and we are.
Must see before you die, guys.
That's right.
That's us. Today we're doing a really good movie. I mean, really good. Not necessarily, in my opinion, a horror movie. I mean, it is ish, more of a thriller in my opinion, but it does have horror elements for sure. And that is 1999's The Sixth Sense, Mike. And it's M Night Shyamalan's first movie, I'm pretty sure. And you got that rotten. It's also a PG-13 movie, Mike, not
That's
rated
right.
R. So this movie was huge, Mike. This was a huge movie, and I remember everybody was talking about this. I think I was about in 10th grade. I didn't see it at the time, Mike. Though I actually saw it years later after it was already done. I think I rented it or something years and years later. And I kind of already knew the twist. So, like, I never watched it from the perspective of like going in fresh minded. So, I mean, I had that ruined for me. I know you had a different experience with it, but let's go ahead and talk about this Rotten Tomato score, Mike.
Yeah, so on the tomato meter, it's got an 86% from the critics, which is outstanding, and a audience score of 90, which
Yes.
for the audience to say that that's pretty high too.
Yeah, this is also got to be one of the best rated movies we have ever done.
Yeah, you got Bruce Willis. He was huge in the 80s and 90s, and he did an excellent job in this. And kind of give everybody a synopsis of this. And this is one of those that probably already seen before. But it says the synopsis is young Cole Sear is haunted by a dark secret. He is visited by ghosts. Cole is frightened by visitations from those with unresolved problems who appear from the shadows. He is too afraid to tell anyone about his anguish except child psychologist Dr. Malcolm Crowe, who's Bruce Willis. As Dr. Crowe tries to uncover the truth about Cole's supernatural abilities, the consequences for client and therapist are a jolt that awakens them both to something unexplainable.
You saw
So
this in the Mike. You saw this in the theater.
I saw this at the theater. We're going to go ahead and just say right here, this is a spoiler alert. You've had to have seen it, hopefully.
1999, guys.
Yeah, I saw this in the theater, and I did not know the ending. And the ending is that Bruce Willis at the very beginning of the movie gets shot. And I'm thinking the whole time in the theater when I first watched it that he's a real person. And at the very end of it, you find out he's a ghost. And they go back and revisit all the scenes, the key scenes of the movie, and you realize that his wife was by herself the whole time. Things were happening, and he really wasn't. He was a ghost himself. And
Well, because remember what he says. He says that the ghosts only see what they want to see. So
that's
he was
right.
trying to open his door the whole time to go to his office.
He
And
couldn't get down
in
there.
there.
Yeah.
That's because there was a desk in front of the door, but he didn't want to see that.
Yeah.
So also, I'm to understand that the guy that shot him at the beginning of the movie had the same powers as the little kid that he helps.
Yeah, and I saw a couple. I mean, I'm not saying this is the truth, but I did see a couple other theorists say that they thought that was really the little boy's dad, and they had some powerful things to say that. I'm not saying that's my belief on it because I'd have to study it more, but that is a theory out there from several people that have seen this movie. Was the person at the very beginning was the little boy's dad, even though in the movie they say his dad has moved to another state and with another woman. They said that was just a made up story for the little boy, but his dad, that's really his dad. I don't really know. I'm not saying that is the truth, but I have heard some other theories, conspiracy theories saying that
Now,
was.
did you know that? Did you know that's Donnie Wahlberg playing that part?
When I went back to do this one with you and I saw the actors and I was like, dude, I didn't know that was him. I mean, he lost, I think 40 pounds to play that role.
Yeah.
And he did an incredible job in that. Yeah, I did not know that was him.
It's an incredible opening scene. I wrote that. I said, really good opening scene. And yeah, that's what I think we're supposed to understand is that because he said, thought it was about my parents' divorce, but it wasn't really. Like, that wasn't the issue. It was because he was seeing dead people and he was continued to be haunted that his whole life. So then he went in there and shot him, and then he took his own life, so he didn't see it no more. And I think that's what it was about. And then with Bruce Willis' character coming back in this movie, he helped a little kid understand his powers and how to help him. And then that was kind of like his mission while he was still alive.
He couldn't help the first guy, so he was helping the second child. He didn't help the first child; he's helping the second child.
That's right. Yep, that's what I think. I don't know if that's true or not, but so what are some of your likes of the movie, Mike?
Man, I got a lot of likes. This one I got a pretty high score on it, Josh. Acting is incredible again. The little boy is very believable.
Yeah.
The ghost that he sees, he's truly petrified. At some point he sees, hangings in his school because it happened in Philadelphia, and there was some court. The school is built on an old courtyard where they had public hangings, and he's seeing that, and he could see that, but the Bruce Willis, who was the ghost, couldn't see that because you only see what you want to see.
That's right.
The little boy, the relationship between, I can't remember her real name in real life. When I saw her, I was like, man, that's a great actress. The little boy's mother.
Yeah, that's Toni Collette, Mike. She's great.
Yeah, she's great. I've seen her some other stuff. But her relationship with the little boy is awesome. And he doesn't want to say too much, and because he don't want to be he knows that he could be institutionalized for the things he's saying, because he got in trouble for drawing pictures of like people getting stabbed in the neck. So he was just drawing pictures of ghosts, but a lot of those scenes are horrific, and the part where the stuttering Stanley guy, and the teacher calls him a freak, I thought was great. At the end of the movie, when that relationship with them two back, and he makes a comment like, this place burned down one time when I was doing a play, and right before that he was there with somebody, another actress, a young girl that had half her head burnt off. I love this movie. There's so much I like about this movie.
So the main cast is Cole, he's the kid, and then there's Dr. Malcolm Crowe, that's Bruce Willis. Then Lynn is the mom, that's the mom, and then Anne is Malcolm's wife. That's like the main cast, like people that you see a lot. Mm-hmm. And then they want you to think that Bruce Willis's wife is having an affair on him in this movie, though she's not.
It's very believable. I remember being in the theater and I was like, man, what a bee. I mean, I can't believe she's cheating on him while he's trying to help this little kid out. I mean, and the whole time she's not.
Right, definitely not. I like the part where the part that I really like of this movie, Mike, is the whole part where he helps this little girl uncover to the father that it was the mother that was making her sick this whole time. It's what's it called? Munchausen syndrome, Mike, where you want to keep a child sick, for whatever reason. It's like a mental disorder that people have, and they want to keep their children like sick all the time. And
that was awesome. And that was a scary scene when the little boy was in his room in the tent and he sees a little girl and she's throwing up this green bile stuff. And that was a great story on where he was helping, he kind of like, he was becoming like Bruce Willis as a ghost, but in a human form, where he was starting to help these ghosts get over what they were having, and so they could leave and not come back again.
That's the reason why he did that, because once he did talk to him, then it was all over for him. Like one of the parts that was creepy was the part where you said where he sees the girl in the tent and she threw up or whatever. But then the other part where he's at some birthday party and these kids are mean to him, and they throw him like in this little like closet thing, and he's like bashing on it, and there's like a guy in there or something, like a ghost.
Yeah,
and that was kind of a weird.
There's old historic house that they probably had slaves or something they put in there. I mean, it was right. Yeah, I mean it's Philadelphia, so it's a lot of old. I love the scene of Philadelphia of all the old houses and the streets and stuff. I thought it was cool.
One of the things I thought it was a funny side thing, where there was like one of these kids that made fun of him in the school, and like he was like fighting him for a role in his play, but like the kid that was a jerk to him, like was in some kind of like medicine commercial,
cough syrup commercial,
and they showed the commercial. Cheesy. They showed the commercial on TV, which I thought was funny. Like, I didn't understand this subplot. I think that was a negative for me, Mike. Like, what was the purpose of it? You know, like it didn't need to be in the movie, I don't think.
Well, I think it was him and Bruce Willis were making fun of the little boy now, because remember the little boy that was the great actor had to play the other part in the thing, and him and the little boy were talking about how cheesy it was, and that commercial was very cheesy.
Yeah, that I would say that's kind of a negative for me. But yeah, I mean, the ending was great, and when you realize that Bruce Willis was a ghost the whole time, and like I was talking to my wife when we were watching, I said, well, do you think people got tipped off? Because there's one part towards the end of the movie where the Haley Joel Osment, Cole, says to Bruce Willis, he says, well, your wife's not talking to you, so maybe you should talk to her in her sleep so she can hear you. Like, to me, I think that would have tipped me off that, like, something's going on here. You know what I mean? Because when he does that, she does hear him and talks to him back, like, at sleeping. Yeah. So, like, that, to me, was a tell, Mike, in my opinion. Maybe people weren't thinking nothing of it, but...
Yeah, in the late 90s, you and I talked about this a little bit prior to doing this movie, but in the late 90s, you know, there wasn't a bunch of social media, and there may have been the MySpace, but nobody was talking about The Sixth Sense. And there was kind of a secret there for people that were going to go see it. They were like, hey, don't tell me the ending. You know, it's really awesome to watch. Don't tell me the ending. And it had a twist. Everybody knew it had a twist. That's what I love about this movie is that it builds up and builds up and builds up, and then it all comes together at the very end. Everything that happened throughout the movie, it has a reason, and you don't know all the reasons, you know, but at the very end, it makes sense. Again, Bruce Willis was on the top of his game, you know, all the way back when he had the TV show Moonlight, and he did Die Hard and a bunch of other movies. He's just a great actor, and I don't have any. I can't think of any dislikes.
I think M. Night Shyamalan though did have a hard time having big success after this, Mike. In my opinion, he had a lot of movies, and people always hyped him up because people are like, "Oh, what's the twist going to be? And I feel like a lot of them just fell short of the twist.
Knock on the Cabin Door is a twist at the end, and I love it. To me, that's his second best movie.
Okay, Mike. That's streaming. Actually, that's going to start streaming here soon, so I'll be able to watch it. But what I'm trying to tell you is, dude, is like Signs is all. I mean, there's a lot of movies that he did that just kind of failed to live up to the hype.
Visitors or Signs or something? I can't remember which one he did. He did Old. He did Old as well. That had a great opportunity in Old, and it just.
He did Lady in the Water. He did The Village. He did a bunch. So, but yeah, so that's that.
What is your favorite ghost? What about ghosts?
So yeah, we normally do favorite kill, but there's really, I mean, Bruce Willis dies, and there's like another lady that dies, but really, there's no kills in this. I would say the one ghost that I like is there's this one kind of subtle part where he's at this house, and this kid walks in, and he looks like he's dressed like in the 70s, and he goes, "Oh, I'll show you where my dad's gun is," and then he turns around, and he's got a hole blow through the back of his head. Yeah. Like he had his dad's gun and blew his freaking head off.
Yeah, I'll tell you another one that that's probably my favorite one, the one you just mentioned, but another one that was really creepy, and I remember seeing in the theater, was the lady that was being abused, and he walks in the kitchen, and like anytime the ghost comes around and if they're angry, it gets real cold. So, or they're around, it's real cold. So you see him breathing, you know, he goes to the bathroom and he's in his tighty whities, and somebody walks behind him, but then he goes into the kitchen and it's a lady, and she turns around. He thinks it's his mom, and then she's all beat up where like her boyfriend or husband had been hitting on her, and then she shows her wrist, and you can tell where she cut her wrist. She killed herself. But
yeah, she said he beat me up real bad this time, but he won't ever do it again. And he like showed her like
so she killed herself. Yeah,
so he couldn't beat her up no more.
Yeah. Yeah, you didn't know that again. You didn't know that she was a ghost at the beginning, because that was towards the beginning of it. And yeah, I mean, there's just a lot of good things like that. I think
we gotta say the line that everybody freaking said after this movie, Mike. I see dead people. That was like the big thing from this movie. So
and there's this 23, 24 years later, and I still hear people say that every once in a while.
So, Mike, for me, listen, I know we're kind of getting to the point we need to say the rating, but probably one of the most powerful parts in this movie is where Cole and his mother are in the car, and he tells her about her mother that passed away, and all this stuff about how the mother makes her proud of her and blah, blah, blah. And he knew things that he possibly could not know, Mike. And so it made the mother believe, yes, my son has this ability. And it was
Josh,
a very powerful.
my eyes got wet on that. Let me just put
It was a powerful scene, Mike. I admit it was a very powerful scene.
Because earlier in the movie, he got in trouble at supper time because a bumblebee pendant, was moved from his mother's room into his drawer. Then at the end of it, you find out that really it was his grandmother was coming back and seeing him, and she was moving that pendant and putting it safe with him in his room, and the mother didn't know that. And then he tells her that at the end, and that it all came together. She understood it then.
Oh, it was a powerful moment, no doubt.
So our rating now, I don't know how many ghosts, maybe how many 1 out of 5 ghost.
Sure.
What would you give this one, Josh?
I went high on this one, Mike. I'm with the audience. I'm going to give it a 4.5 out of 5, Mike. I mean, it's almost a perfect movie in my opinion. You have a couple of things I thought that could have been removed, but yeah, I'll say 4.5. I'm giving it, Mike.
You stole my number, man. 4.5 is for me. It's a really high rating for me. I would probably lean more towards a thriller on this one than a horror movie, but it's scary. I think, seeing it in the movie theater when it's really dark and the movie, a lot of scenes when you see the ghosts, it's dark too. But I am so glad and fortunate. I'm an old guy that I got to see this one in the movie theater before it got out that it was, the ending on it. So if you have not seen this movie, you got to see it.
Well, my wife said she saw it, like her mom and her dad rented it back in the day when it came out on video, and she saw it, and she was probably like 10 or 11. She said she was scared to death of it. That's what she told me.
Oh yeah. My son at 12, it scared him pretty good. I mean, so yeah, it is a thriller / horror movie.
Yes, no doubt.
All right, Josh, tell everybody where they can find our channel and on Facebook and on YouTube.
Go find us on Facebook at Must See Before You Die Horror Community. We got a crew over there. We're building, and we're having fun just posting things and having some conversations.
Yep. And like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell notification for future content. We're trying to put at least 2 or 3 videos out a week. So
yeah,
have a good one, Josh.
See ya. Bye.